Greetings, family, and welcome back to another Friday Night Frights, a true crime podcast I've added to my channel. Why? Because I feel like this. Since I'm going to travel, I must be aware of and share the dangers that are out there. I don't ever want what happened to me to happen to you. In fact, tonight's episode hits too close to home. Titled, I Took Your BFF Out. For those who don't know, BFF means best friend forever. Ironically, the same person that assaulted me in 2022 in the Gambia, a country in West Africa known as the Smiling Coast, also tried to take out his wife's best friend a week after I testified in my assault case against him. I ask, at what point in time do we see the person for who and what they are and hold them accountable? Whatever that looks like in the court system, whether it be in the Gambia or in the United States. Justice comes in different forms, and I'm here for all of them. Because so many times we support our friends, not knowing how much we're putting ourselves in danger when it comes to people like this. Welcome to I Took Your BFF Out.
She was more than just my best friend. She was like my family. She was my sister. She was my support. She was my go-to.
Certain males have this gene. Therefore, they have a propensity toward violence.
But let me tell y'all a story. For those who are new to my channel, in October of 2022, I was in the Gambia and I was assaulted by a Gambian that was deported from the United States. Now, during this time, the accused woman, Boop Boop Booter, was making his rounds on YouTube, telling his side of the story, even though there is CCTV footage. He went on the Afrodamus report. The Afrodamus report decides to always do what? Attack the African woman, right? Then he went on Shrek's channel. But Tay does not have to lie. It's just a sin and a shame that these people come here for the tourism, and anybody that doesn't fall into line is now an enemy.
I did receive a call from the station, but I told him clearly I'm not going over there. You guys are biased, and you're not gonna do the right judgment.
So what is the right judgment? Actually, Jibby, the one that's talking, he acted like an old man and said that they had the wrong number. They called again, and he said, we know you're not an old man. Why? G responds, why are you harassing an old pa like this? And this is where the games began. When the detectives, the taxi driver, and myself went to the address G had posted as his business location, quotation marks, I had to pay for transportation. Yes, you have to provide either gas money or hire the taxi itself to transport everyone to the accused person, pick up the accused, and transport everyone back to said police station. And yes, you, the foreigner, just paid for all of that. The person who robbed me had to get into my car as we drove to the police station as well. So, forgive me, family, but I thought a judgment was the last step in a case. So either that's criminal code talk or Gambian code talk. What does he mean by the right judgment? Already? You committed common assault and you know that that is a crime. Now, instead of G turning himself in, he goes on Shrek's channel to do a live. He's clearly following Kwesi's blueprint. And Shrek is obviously trying to keep Kwesi and Art's criminal enterprise going by attacking any and everyone speaking out against these self-empowered criminals. Get this, while he's on Shrek's platform spewing lies, he has no idea that he is about to be betrayed for reward money.
You know, she thought she was with a slow person, you know. You know.
So an abuser will always try to spin the story, all the while trying to push their insecurities off on you. I never said the dude was slow. He did.
My wife ended up calling our lawyer, and then he ended up reaching the SO with my brother was, you know, to just go make it happen.
You know they're lying when they start stuttering. Getting back to this, it doesn't really matter if his wife actually made those calls to a lawyer or not to make it happen, as he said. But make what happen exactly? Because I never saw G being represented by any lawyer. None of the times he had to appear in court. Not that having a lawyer in the Gambia actually means anything, right? Y'all see what my lawyers did to me. And if you fall into the wrong hands, quotation mark, lawyer, then your experience with that lawyer may be worse than the crime committed against you.
So there's no assault charge or anything. They just want me to pay for the phone.
The real tea is, we know, well, y'all may not know, Jibby was actually charged. Mr. Njai was charged. So I don't know why these people get up here and lie when the truth can easily be found. Also, the clerk at Bundung Courthouse in the Islamic Republic of the Gambia, ask him, is there an IGP versus Jibby case for charges of common assault and willfully destroying someone's property? Ask them, is Mr. Njai being charged for being prosecuted for common assault and willfully destroying someone's property? The million-dollar question is, why in the world would his wife, Khadijah, a 50-plus African-American woman, continue to save this person, even when she's often at the other end of his rage? This is the reason why they are known at the police station. She goes to the police station on him, then drops the charges. Jibby was trying to use the same reverse psychology he uses on his wife, on me, but it wasn't working. These people are pure narcissists. Evidence has shown he's assaulted me, and now he wants to create a narrative with dogs that don't have anything to do with this fight. Why? Because dudes like this aren't used to women standing up to them. I shouldn't have had to, though. Shrek wasn't interested in the truth. She's never interested in truth that has to do with Tay-Tay. Her only goal was to keep the crime syndicate going by trying to discredit me. She's created so many narratives about the assault. Y'all can go back and look at the videos, that only a crazy person with dumpster level self-esteem will believe her. That's backwards thinking.
Which she's not even picking up her phone right now. Because she knows it's a dumb move she just did.
Now let's start at, what phone did I have to pick up? Any calls, sir, madam? If you assaulted me and destroyed my phone, y'all saw that. Psh, you destroyed my phone after assaulting me. So what phone could I pick up? It's crazy how Jibby lived in the States, but still feels the same way about us as some of the continental Africans. I'm sorry, but that speaks volumes to me. But I think he just realized the dumb move he just did. So now it's time for damage control with Shrek. Even with a master's degree, she will always co-sign nonsense against Tay-Tay. Now, y'all, I should feel flattered when in reality, it feels very unsafe. .
think she was saying that at her house, but she did mention too she was at the police station for hours. You know, it's sad to say, but even the police, some of the female police officers know her for bringing other men there. It wasn't just me.
Mhm. Yeah,
They know
that's what I was.
she was a problem. They already knew that.
I'm telling you, when it says at the police station for hours, that shouldn't even have been an issue, because if people would have kept their hands to themselves, then I wouldn't have to end up at the police station. But I'm telling you, Gambian criminals will never show any accountability. Nunca, never. They always start with, it's sad to say, then start lying, saying the police already knew she was a problem. G said the police already knew I was a problem. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So let's sit up here and look and say silly things that doesn't make any sense. Who goes to a country where, let's not go there. So he's saying the police have a problem with me because criminals break the law and I hold them accountable with evidence. Did I get that right? The actual problem is people just allow these effed up male children that are in adult bodies to keep doing things like this without any repercussions. FYI, the word men is already plural. So other men's, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. But have you noticed that every man that I've taken to the police station has the same story? They have the same defense because they are all criminals. Kwesi, Jibby, and Renee Marcus's brother deserve to be taken to the police for their criminal behavior. So what is he talking about? More accountability nonsense. These people go on YouTube and lie because no one confronts them with their lies. The police do know me because of effed up criminals like him. Who the F goes to the Gambia or any other country to deal with having to take criminals to court? That's not a vacation. That's not a holiday, as the Black British or the British people say. That's not a holiday. Not me. I'd rather be in America than deal with that ish in a foreign country where people are jealous and hate you anyway. Nah, I'm good. Actually, the police have a problem with you, G. That's why you were charged once they saw the video, but Khadijah came and bailed you out again. I'm going to tie it up. You're going to see. What did the police say to you, Khadijah, when you put your hands on? No, I'm sorry. What did the police say to Khadijah when you put your hands on your hands and teeth on her friend? What did the police tell Khadijah? The police asked Khadijah, are you going to go through with it this time? Because they knew about you, her husband, and what you bestowed upon her. So I keep telling y'all, this is the game. Yet I saw G the day after I testified in court in a store in Bruford with the same clothes on he had on in court the day before. So evidently there's probably was just partying all night, right? But I quickly got out of Dodge. But I thought to myself, I knew this ninja was lying, and so was his wife. When? We'll get to that. Yes, I tried to create in that country, just like so many other Americans. But how many American businesses that opened in 2020, around COVID time, are still up and booming in 2025? If I'm wrong, then please show me some proof, and I say I'm wrong. But I don't think I am based on what I've seen and what I've heard. All I hear is so-and-so and so-and-so is opening a business. Then I hear it closed for different reasons, right? Bad work ethics from their employees, stealing, laziness, people being undependable, lack of funds. It could be a slew of things. But finding Great employment in the Gambia is an issue. You can ask any Gambian. It is an issue. People will say they can do things and then they can't. And now you're stuck because you're hiring them for the month. I never hire anyone for the month. I will not be stuck with you.
That uses the police, and women do that here. And I hate to agree with Aphrodite, but he was right about that. They will use the police against you here. Especially if you don't want to be with them no more, or if you don't want them no more, they will weaponize the police against you. Not all of them, but some of them. What she did to you is exactly what the females do here.
Now, I don't know what type of female Shrek hang around, but yeah, I can't speak for anyone else but myself. What did I do to G? He helped to scam me with Caucasian art. He assaults me. What? I stood up for myself? Shrek has no credibility. Zilch. You all saw the video, and I'll leave that there. But you heard Shrek reference the Aphrodite report. Is Aphrodite report Abu speaking on this brother, on his brother, his Gambian brother, having an IGP case against him? No. His little short behind worked in the Department of Corrections prison system, so he was around the worst of the worst, but continue to judge us all as the same. But we'll turn around and say all Gambians are the same. He's a hypocrite just like the rest. He realized now that, yeah, I'm not the one. I'm not one of these women that they're talking about. I have never been arrested. Can Shrek, Jibby, Quasi, or Phoenix say the same? I have never and will never use the police because someone doesn't want to be with me. Who does that? Someone that's not comfortable in their skin. Why? Because I'm not that desperate. But many women are, right, Shrek? Some need the approval of a man, even if you've never met the man, and that's sad.
So he was exactly right about that. And for her to take that mess and nonsense to Africa, to the Gambia, and the police ladies notice it.
Now, if anyone has been to the Gambia, lived there for some time, or stayed there for an extended period of time, if they've ever had to take anyone to the police, they will know that what she's saying doesn't make any sense. Let me get to this. So Shrek says, so she took that mess to the Gambia. I'm sorry, sir. I didn't allegedly bribe the lead detective, but Jibby allegedly gave an iPhone to the detective. The same detective that was pressuring me to accept Jibby's apology, to accept G's apology, and let him pay for the phone. What they didn't realize is it's not about the phone. I can go buy a new phone, put the insurance in. As to what, that's just what I did. It was less than $300. Fine. But it's not about the phone. It's about a male who is out there doing the most with his hands on women that aren't his wife. And he and his wife think that it's okay. It is not. It's not. So when it comes to Shrek talking about me doing anything in the Gambia, I say, look at your best friend, because it's been proven that it's fraud. But if you are a part of that crime syndicate, you're not going to say anything. You're going to sit there and be like a defense attorney and just make up stupid stuff like Diddy's lawyer, Yana. This dude G was throwing bowls at his wife on a regular and her friend. Her friend had to intervene for a whole year. I do pray that Khadijah finds the strength and love to want better for herself. But unfortunately, she was in court looking silly, supporting her man lying on the stand, talking about he couldn't come back to court because he was leaving for paid training with AfriCell. Minding you, this dude doesn't close. A source close to the family states that this dude doesn't even have a job. He sits at home all day playing video games while she pays all the bills. The crazy part is the same detective that was tampering with me as a witness is the same one that made sure the witness got the reward for turning G in. You know, the same reward that Shrek was like, you don't have 100, you don't have, no matter what I do, I'm happy I do it for myself and not for anyone else. Shout out to my real subscribers, to each and every one of you all. One of his loyal friends turned him in and took the reward money. When I came to the station, the detective was trying to hide me and get me out of there. He took the envelope real quick because he didn't want G to see me, and he definitely didn't want me to see the informant. The detective, Yusuf, got $700 worth of credit from me because when I'm leaving, I transfer my credit. At least somebody can use it. I'm just not going to leave it sitting there. I transfer my credit to whomever. So I transfer my credit to him. He got Detective Yusuf from Brewster B Police got $700 worth of credit from me, an alleged iPhone from Jibby and his wife, Khadijah, and a reality check when he tried to pressure me in the prosecutor's office because I was moving forward with the assault case. Talking about, I guess you didn't hear me. I told him, yes, I heard you, but did you hear me? He looks at me and walk away. No accountability, right? No accountability.
Because that's what one of the questions were. They wanted to know, are the authorities in the Gambia, do you think they're aware of all the mess that she causes along the way?
So Shrek says that was one of the questions. Now, why would the police have a problem with me when I'm the one that visited your country, was robbed and assaulted by your own people? What sense does that make? Especially when there's evidence. This is why I say anyone who follows Shrek must have the lowest self-esteem on the planet. Yeah, you heard me. If this is who they look up to, I literally feel sorry for them. This video speaks volumes of the character of Shrek and G. My each one teach one work. For the small amount of time that I was there, dealing with criminals speaks for itself. But Shrek is a teacher in Dayton, Ohio, right? But not one time has she ever used her platform to do anything for children of the Gambia, let alone do anything for the children in the Gambia when she's there. But isn't her husband a Gambian? No. She'd rather sit back and hate my light for shining so bright. I may get screwed over by criminals and bad people, but I'm still abundantly blessed. And that's why she hates me. But it's okay. It's okay. So when and if she ever talks about Black unity, we know immediately that that's just for likes and views. It truly shows credibility. She said all these reckless things about me, all the while praising a well-known abuser. Who does that? What teacher does that? An Emerson Academy teacher, that's who. Why isn't she giving y'all updates on these cases against the criminals that has robbed and assaulted me? No, you just drop videos and then say whatever you want and try to defame someone's character, someone's name. But it shows that you need to go back and listen. I'm gonna keep going because I need to get to the second story. These are the mind games people try to play, but I refuse to play their games. These American women are more established than these bumpsters, but continue to take their abuse. Shout out to the women who will show and have showed these mofos the gate and never opened it up again. Kudos to you all. I will say this though. When I'm in a country and when I'm in the country and present, the police and the courts shows that they working. Now, whether that's for show, I don't know. When I leave, it's a different story. But that's the culture and traditions of countries in Africa, right? Let's lie, steal, cheat our way to the top. Those are white people, even though they look like us. We don't care about them. The only thing that they can do for us is give us their hard-earned money and materials. Then God will bless us. I say, just look around. Look around you and think again. If that's your mentality, look around you and think again. Okay. Okay. So let's recap.
Notice it.
I don't know if I took it too far back.
Because that's what one of the questions were. They wanted to know, are the authorities in the Gambia, do you think they're aware of all the mess that she causes along the way?
So you ask a criminal that has just committed common assault and willfully destroying someone else's property. You ask them, but we know that this person, I don't know, people have really, really low self-esteem. I don't understand. But how the authorities feel about this woman making trouble every time. I don't know how many people have really traveled. Because, like I said, who goes to a country to create riffraff? To not see that someone is fighting criminals is because they don't want to see it. But places and spaces, if you jealous, boo, just get in line. It's okay. It's all good. Now, let's tie these two stories together. I wanted to touch on me getting assaulted in the Gambia. Connected with Jibby assaulted me. But on the flip side, Jibby was also allegedly abusing his wife, Khadijah. Khadijah had a close friend, right, in the Gambia. The close friend will come and there are videos about it, guys. The close friend will come and get Khadijah and take her to a hotel until G calmed down, blah, blah, blah. She kept pushing it off. No one thought that G would assault his wife's friend. No one thought that. Just like no one ever thought what will happen in this story that I'm about to tell you, where they took their BFF out. How the stories connect is the story I just told you. One man is in the Gambia, West Africa. I just told you his story. It's still being written. The other happened in the States. Both are complete monsters, and comparing the two brought me to that conclusion. In this episode, we will travel to Kimsey Mountain in the state of Tennessee. Penny was going through a nasty divorce from her husband, Brad Waldrew. After years of abuse and 4 children later, she said enough is enough and left him. Brad ended up moving in with his grandmother in a rural mountain named Kimsey Mountain. It's a place where no one would hear you scream. On October 13, 2006, Leslie volunteered to go with Penny to drop the children off. Being her best friend and all, I'm going to support my friend. Leslie has always been a rock for Penny. She would stand up to Brad during this time. He abused her best friend. During the time he abused her best friend, she would stand up to Brad. Leslie was not afraid of him, and Brad knew it. Leslie left her 3 children with their other friend, Dachi Latham. Penny, Leslie, and Dachi were like the 3 musketeers. They would all get together with the children because they were all having problems in their marriages. It's like playing musical house. Wherever the DV was, that was the music. That's how they moved around. I think they all knew this was going to turn out bad, especially after Leslie eerily said that her going with Penny was her destiny. She probably didn't mean it like that, but sadly it turned out to be just that. Leslie and Penny made a plan to call Dachi on a schedule, and right before they lost reception on the mountain. They knew going up that mountain, the reception would be sketchy. If they didn't call within an hour of losing reception, Dachi knew to call the police, and that's exactly what she did. Unfortunately,
It's a lot of trauma.
Unfortunately, the 911 dispatcher said they will send someone up. There we go. The 911 dispatcher said they will send someone up there when they had time. They had no idea that an emergency was happening, and they should send someone immediately. As soon as Penny and Leslie reached the home, Brad was on the porch with a .22 rifle. The children were sent inside the house. These were small children. And of course, they went right to the window. Brad started blaming Leslie for the breakdown of their marriage and for basically being there for Penny since she left him. Sounds familiar, right? Khadijah and her friend. He then raised his arm, setting off the weapon, and Leslie fell to the ground, never to get up again. No one would think, okay, it's over. No, it's over, but no. Brad was just getting started. Brad wanted Penny to suffer. Penny began to run, and he caught her in the back. He used whatever was outside in that yard to try to unalive Penny. Miraculously, she ended up being able to talk him into letting her see the children and say goodbye to them. We think we could calm down crazy, but sometimes, you can't, depending on the crazy. Yes, these children were watching this nightmare in real life unfold right before their eyes. The son said he knew Dad was coming to unalive Mom, them, and then himself. That's bananas. During this time, Dachi is still calling 911, and finally, a deputy gets up there. He looks around in horror, seeing Leslie on the ground. Then he sees Penny running out the door. He throws her and she's yelling, "Oh, my husband is trying to unalive me. My husband, he did." She's just telling, diarrhea of the mouth, telling everything that has happened. He doesn't know what's going on. He's confused. He throws her into the car and tries to leave. She's yelling, my children are inside." They call for backup. They call for more backup. Now, people don't understand when something happens. There are people that are survivors and left to deal with the criminal act that just has happened.
It was a lot of trauma, more than just physical. It's a lot of mental trauma too. I remember hearing my dad come in, like through the back of the county jail, and was screaming,
"This isn't over, I'm all of you. You just wait and see."
At trial, they came up with the warrior gene defense. It was new. It said that certain males have this gene. Therefore, they have a propensity toward violence with the least provocation.
That was Penny. That was his wife.
He couldn't help himself. That's basically what that defense is. He couldn't help himself.
And this is what Jibby did to Khadijah's friend. He tried to bite her finger off. See, when you're dealing with a monster, they don't care when there are authorities or people there. They're still yelling. Don't believe me? Go back and listen to that video. After G assaulted this woman, bit her finger, he still started assaulting his wife. You still hear him yelling. These are people that you need to run away from because they will unalive you.
Based on the verdict, the jury may have bought a lot of that. But the voluntary manslaughter of Leslie Bradshaw was the portion of the verdict that astounded me. I don't see how you can call that a voluntary manslaughter. Leslie's family was very, very upset with the voluntary manslaughter charge.
I can imagine. I can't even imagine how the family felt knowing that it was premeditated. He was on the porch waiting for them. But with that defense, that he has a propensity for violence? Well, I mean, if that's true, then he needs to be locked up for life, right? I think they also use it's a crime of passion type of crime. To receive an involuntary manslaughter charge for taking the unaliving someone's best friend, your wife's best friend, even though he destroyed all of those lives. Leslie or no one's best friend deserves that when all you're doing is standing up for your friend.
I'm going to live a lot longer than he's going to be like in prison. And I'm going to be living with what he did forever.
He took that away. There's a part of me wants to think that's the reason why he did that. It's a really deep hurt that I cannot explain. Knowing that she lost her life because she was my friend. Leslie.
Now that has to be the worst. She lost her life because she was my friend. So if you have a friend or know a friend that's going through this, talk it out. Talk to that friend. You know, even if you got to cry with that friend, try to reach your friend. It's not going to be easy because a lot of time when there is DV, there's so much abuse, there's so much breaking down of who you are that it's hard to even hear what the person is saying. It's hard to even fathom that you're not worthless, that someone will love you. And I can't say just walk away because it's some things I would just never understand. But so many times when things like this happens, people get a slap on the wrist. They're not fully held accountable for their actions, even when they do unalive someone. So I say talk about it before it turns out like one of these stories mentioned in I Took Your BFF Out. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next episode.